This video we're going to look at using the binomial distribution functions on the calculator. So to access it, we go into the menu and it's this one that has the bell curve here, number 7. So if we press number 7, we've got two different options. We've got binomial PD, and if we press arrow down, we've got binomial CD. So I'm going to go back up. First one I'm going to show you how to use is binomial PD. So we press number 4. We can either choose list or variable. First one I'm going to show you how to use is a variable. This is if we are doing a single variable, and it is working out the probability that x equals some number. So I want to know the probability that x equals 2. If I look at my distribution and the parameters that I have, n is 10 and p is 0.2. If I press equals, that gives me to three significant figures 0.302. If I want to do more than one in one go to save ourselves some time, we go back into number 7, number 4, binomial PD, number 1, list, and this time I put both variables in the list. So I press 3 equals 4 equals, and if I press equals again, I can then put my parameter values in. The parameter values are still the same, which the calculator has remembered. If I press equals, that takes me back to the table, but this time it has the probabilities populated in the table. So if we hover over them, we can see that the probability that x equals 3 is 0.201. And the probability that x equals 4 is 0.80881. I can store either of those in the calculator. So I could press store, and I could store that in A. I could store the other one in B. And then if I wanted to, in the main calculator, I could add A and B together if I wanted to find the probability of either or happening. The other function we're going to look at is binomial CD. This is the cumulative distribution. This is what we will use when we have some kind of inequality sign in the probability we're looking for. So if we go into the menu, number 7, this is when we do arrow down and it's number 1, binomial CD. This is probably the one you will use most often. Again, you can put a single variable in or you can use the list. So if we go into number 2, the important bit to realise is when we type into here, it has to be a less than or equal to sign. That is the probability it's going to give us. So if we want the probability that x is less than or equal to 3, we type 3 in there. Then n is 20 and p is 0.5. Press equals, that gives us a probability of 0.00129. We can use the list function in the same way as we can with binomial PD. So we go back to CD. We can use the list function, and let's say this time I want 7 and 8. Put each of them in. Make sure the parameters are correct. N is 20, P is 0.5. And that gives us our individual probabilities of those two. Say, for example, we wanted to work out the probability that x is greater than or equal to 10. So that means we want it to be 10 or more, which means we don't want anything 9 or less. So what we would do here, we go into the distribution, we go to number 1, we just want one variable, so we just press number 2. We type in 9, parameters are still the same. That there would be the probability that x is less than or equal to 9. I need to take that value away from 1. So I'm going to store that. I could store it as A or B, but I'm going to use x because there's just one value. So if I go back into the main menu and just do 1 minus that last answer, it means I don't need to use the rounded value, so that when I type it in, I know that that is the exact value for rounding at the very end.